It all started with a single murder, a seemingly ordinary case. A wealthy businessman is found dead in his mansion. But when the police opened his private safe, they found 7 keys. 7 keys, but to what? Each key led to a new mystery, a new crime. The detective who took on the investigation, he had to solve this code before the killer struck again. But could he stay ahead of death? Detective Edward Kincaid arrived at the scene of the crime, a luxurious mansion in an upscale neighborhood. The body of the owner, Richard Holmes, was found in the study. Cause of death was a clean shot to the heart. There were no signs of forced entry. That meant the killer either knew the code to the safe or got it voluntarily. When the safe was opened, there were 7 keys. Different sizes, shapes, engraved numbers, no ID, no money, just these keys. Edward took one in his hands and felt that he was holding not just metal, but a clue. The investigation began with the most obvious first clue. The detective checked the dead man's pockets and found a piece of paper with an address. He went there without delay. The door was opened by an elderly woman. "You're late," she said, looking at him longingly. It turned out that her daughter, Holmes's former assistant, had died the day before under mysterious circumstances. In her flat, Edward found a safe, to which the first key fitted perfectly. Inside is a photograph with 5 people, including Richard Holmes. Who were they? Why was this photograph hidden? Edward started looking for the people in the photograph. One of them, the lawyer Thomas Grayson, he found dead in his office. The door was locked from the inside. Apparently, the killer used a ruse. There was an envelope on the desk. Inside was a second key, almost identical to the one from Holmes' safe. "Is someone playing games with me?" thought the detective, holding the key. The murderer was leaving him clues. But why? The third key led Edward to the archives. He'd found an old case from 5 years ago, when Holmes, Grayson, and 3 other people were on a high-profile fraud case. The case had been closed, but someone obviously didn't like it. The 4th key led to the house of Holmes' former accountant, but he'd disappeared. The flat was empty, with a note on the floor, "You're closer than you think." The 5th key went to the safe in the bank. There the detective found Holmes's last will and testament, rewritten a week before his death. All the property passed not to his relatives, but to an unknown person. There were 2 keys left. One to the country house, where they found the hidden evidence room. The other to the safe deposit box in the bank, where Holmes' only videotape was kept. In the tape, the dying businessman spoke. "I knew this day would come. They're going to kill me, but you have to understand the truth is worth more than life." On the last frame, the detective saw the face of the murderer, and it was a man he'd known for many years. The clue had been found, but the killer was already waiting for him. The last encounter took place on the roof of an abandoned building. "You shouldn't have got involved in this," said the killer, holding the gun. But Edward was ready. At the last moment, he snatched the weapon and made his move. In a second, it was over. The killer had been caught, but the more Edward thought, the more he realized this story wasn't over. Somewhere out there were more secrets, and he knew that behind every door there might be a new key. If you like this story, please like and subscribe to the channel. Let's get 5,000 likes, and we'll solve a new mystery.